Come check out owlsherbs.com where we have all of your herbal needs and different variety of products from sea moss to black seed oil and a different variety of products for different health issues because your health is your wealth.
Hey you guys, this is Courtney Camaro. I'm outside of Muhammad Ali's real original home. We're in Chicago, and I wanted to shout out Al's Botanics and Herbs. Man, when I tell you, I am one of those people that has insomnia. I can't sleep. I can't focus on some days because I'm so sleep deprived, and this has helped. This is one of the mixtures he has that helps with sleep.
What's going on? So basically, there's a lot of men out here that are clueless. Okay. Clueless. And some people, man, they ain't grow up with a brother, uncle, cousin to teach them the ropes. That's a fact. You know how I know? Because a long time ago, that was me. I had to learn basically kind of similar to somebody that was in a gang. I basically grew up on a block with people that I pretty much went from childhood to adolescence with. And it was some new kids that was like a couple blocks over from me that were new to the neighborhood, but I seen how they got down. I seen pretty much how they rolled. They, pretty much were pretty much like dogs, like a dog pack, right? So I had two choices I was gonna make. First of all, most of my cousins were older than me, and I didn't have no brothers growing up. Just basically my sisters and my mother and my father. Now I did learn some things from my father, but my father pretty much, for the most, was pretty quiet and very mysterious. Okay. So going back to the two options, basically going from just staying on the block playing basketball all day or going with the new kids on the block, basically, literally. I chose the new kids on the block. Reason why? I kind of saw the future with just hanging on the block, playing basketball all day like it's a religion. I used to play basketball from morning to night. Okay, uh, you know, pretty much I knew I could still play basketball and still, hang with this new group of, the new kids on the block. So that's what I chose. And I'm going to tell you why I chose that route. I chose the new kids on the block because I already knew what the kids that I grew up on my block were going to do. I already knew what they were used to. Pretty much basketball, they own little singular little girlfriends they had. They were, selfish for the most part. And, it was competitive to a certain extent too. And these other guys, it was like, okay, rolling with a dog pack. Because most of the time, pretty much we just stayed on our own block. We didn't go outside the block. Well, the people that I grew up with on my block, that's how they roll. So these new kids on the block, they wanted to go anywhere they possibly could. I was very much like that too. I didn't just stay on my block because the thing about me is, and I grew up in an environment that I was pretty much okay with not getting shot. It wasn't. It was my risk tolerance was I wasn't going to get shot. I knew I was going to possibly get into fights, altercations, but I wasn't going to get shot. Now, I'm going to tell you why I'm telling you this story. I'm going to get to it. But basically, I was going to go basically join this new dog pack and learn some things kind of from an older brother, a guy that has a brother that's older, and see what I can learn from these guys and see how, I could pretty much, I'm like 15, 16 years old at this time, seeing if I can get laid. Okay. I mean, basically, long story short, that's what happened. Pretty much after a while, I started getting some damn trim. Okay. Now I'm gonna, walk you along this, monologue or whatever, but I had to learn that if I'm gonna try to, man, learn how to deal with women, how to deal with, getting some trim, I had to get off of my block, get away from these hard legs, and go with some other crew of guys that was gonna, be more adventurous, basically uh more risky even to a certain extent. And that's what I did. Okay. I learned a lot. I learned that a lot of the things what people say in this space, as far as, you know, you don't have to have a lot of money. You do need to know how to dress. You do need to know how to talk to women. And to be honest, a lot of times if you don't learn when you were in high school, grammar school even, I mean, that's just how it is in this society. You are not going to know how to deal with women that well, as far as on a courtship basis, or even uh, getting access to women. You're just not gonna, if you didn't pick it up when you were younger, when you're a youth, to high school age. You're not going to basically understand all the way to even adulthood. That's why you have all of this incel shit and all of this basically lack of confidence. That's why you have all of this shit. I'm watching people online that have basically so much lack of confidence that they don't even know why they are so, having so many problems with women. And it's not associated with money. This is not something, the things that I'm going to be talking about mostly is not about money. And this definitely is going to be on Patreon. This is going to be on Patreon. Yeah, I'll let you get a free watch. You can even comment on the chat. I'll put my Cash App information. You know what I'm saying? Because basically, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna go back to. I'm gonna show Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I'm gonna go even further. Okay, I'm gonna show you why I put this on Patreon. Why a lot of people that actually talk about relationships and stuff like that, when it goes deep, they put things, they charge you for it. I'm gonna go to this chart here. Well, this chart here actually is different. I'm going to try to show you another Maslow's chart that I picked up off of in school. Okay. Now, one of the things that is missing in this chart, in this particular chart, is sex. This is not in this chart. Now, I'm going to try to, if I can find that chart that actually talks about sex. Okay. And I'm gonna download this to see if I can download this real quick. Because this is also something that is important. Okay, very much important. And you maybe so I got kicked off, and yeah, when I started talking about some cash shit, basically some high level type stuff, high level conversation type stuff, I always notice when I'm talking about high level stuff, things start happening with my IP address and shit. All kind of like stuff. All of a sudden, I'm getting kicked out of StreamYard, which I've never. I mean, I rarely get kicked out of StreamYard. That means that, basically, probably somebody higher up is watching this stream. Well, at the end of the day, I pay for StreamYard. I can give two fucks about who don't want me to spill the beans on this high level conversation that I'm going to be talking about. So anyway, moving along, let me post this other version of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and this is basically context of if you took anything related to sociology, psychology, basically humanities, they're going to talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay. So at the bottom here, where it says safety, actually let me take this banner off here so you can see. Actually, it's physiological. Okay, physiological. So as you can see, this Maslow's hierarchy of needs is actually different than the other Maslow's hierarchy of needs that I actually showed you. So on this lower level here, you have breathing, food, water, sex. I'll say it again: sex, sleep, homeostasis, excretion. Now, let me break this down to you in layman terms. What this means as far as this lower level and why it's so important. Why it's important to actually live in healthy environments. You probably laugh at people that live in the country and live in rural America and stuff like that. Well, one of the reasons that they laugh at you, city folks and stuff like that, is because, yeah, they might not make that much money in the country, but they have better air, which is better breathing. They actually, yes, grow their own food, such as crops and also livestock, right? And they tend to have even better water because, yeah, they have wells, underground wells. Actually, I don't know if I mentioned that on this one, on this actual live stream before, but the actual word wealth comes from the word well, literally. So yeah, so they actually, a lot of places they do have water below, and they have well water. Basically they basically they filter it, boil it, or whatever, and have sustainable water. They have a sustainable water source. A lot of rural areas do have some form of well water, or some have actual water flowing through underground water systems, basically, right? So yeah, they know something that you don't know. They know, okay, yeah, we have a lot of better things on this lower level than even a lot of people that think they're doing it so well in the city don't have, right? And it's quiet, right? And where I'm talking about this chart is, here's the thing that people don't that I don't talk about too much, and I kind of like kind of keep to myself, to be honest, and a lot of other people keep this to themselves. Well, here's the thing about sex and procreation. This is. Let me get ready for my bomb drop. And yeah, this is a free watch. This is going on Patreon. As soon as I get off this stream. So I mean, basically, yeah, sign up for Patreon if you want to. Basically get this content and more content as well. My Patreon links are in the description of most of my videos. So where this is a bomb drop moment is, a lot of times people don't probably think about it like this. If you had no children, and let's just say you're the only child, even if you are not the only child, you die tomorrow. If you don't have any children, you don't have any type of, not only just legacy, your DNA type, or your actual sub type of person has no link or connection to. You're like, every individual is unique within itself. It's like every person's fingerprint is unique, right? Well, if you don't have any children, ladies and gentlemen, if you're okay with that, that's fine. But you will not actually continue on. This is actually like the most valuable thing about a woman. And this is something that they talk about, and they also, talk about it in public spaces, but it's rarely even talked about. Even women don't really talk about this that much. But yeah, I mean, one of the most valuable things a woman can actually give you is her womb. And yeah, womb access can be cheap to a certain extent, given depending on, whoever you're dealing with. But given the fact that they give you that access, they have control over who actually extends on or not. I'll repeat that. Women have control with the protection of men, basically. Okay. In society, and other people as well. They have control over who carries on as far as into the next life. Okay. And the next life is your fucking children, motherfuckers. That's why I be like, oh, okay. So it's kind of like a slow. When I hear people say they don't want to have children, honestly, to be honest, I understand. I get it. But I mean, once I understood how rare I was, I'm be honest, like even before I turned 18, I was kind of worried about if I died, because I don't have any brothers or sisters. I'm really the only child, really, in a sense, because I don't my mother and father, I was the stepdaddy baby. Shit, my mom already had two children, my two sisters, and my dad married her probably getting a green card probably has something to do with that to a certain extent, but it later turned into something more than that, obviously. Um, my father confessed it to me as far as, I mean, his yearning and love towards my mother, and my mother definitely was crazy about my father. But that given the fact, I was literally, I pretty much kind of thought and felt as well like I was the only child, even having two sisters, but they were, half sisters, right? So when I got older, the older I got, the more I thought about, how it would be a shame or a travesty to not have that extension onwards, not having any children, and even to a certain extent, it's not necessarily bougie or anything like that. By the time I was in my late 30s, when I wanted to have children or whatever, I didn't worry about no fucking child support like that. Like, I didn't give a fuck about child support as far as things like, if I had the money, I probably would have paid a woman to just basically be a surrogate. I mean, basically, like, that's also kind of goes into the competition of earning capital, um, in wealth and everything like that. It's competitive. It's a competitive world, competitive. Just like the animal kingdom, everything is competitive, right? Well, when it goes back to sex, why this is at the below portion, why this is important. It this is how I interpret it. It's interpreted to me as literally just like an animal. If you don't have sex, you don't survive onward. And I'm not saying I'm not. I mean, obviously people gonna take this and then they gonna start busting nuts. Like, literally, people gonna watch this video and they gonna, literally, like, it's almost like I'm giving people a fuck. Like, I'm giving people consent because it's rumored that the word fuck comes from fornication under consent of the king. I'm literally giving people fucks. Like, I mean, like, the thing is that, okay, to a certain extent I am, but to another extent, what I'm saying is, on this physiological level, when it comes to sex, that's why they have it. The people probably never understood, why is this at the bottom. It's because it don't even matter if you fucking piss pop poor or whatever the case may be. If you don't have any fucking offspring, you would not continue onward. Like, you could fucking die at any whim, any moment in life. Even before conception, before even puberty, and then that's it. You're closed out. Your DNA strands, structures, they just become a footnote in history. Now, don't get me wrong. Families do have certain DNA strands that are very similar. Like, for example, my cousins, I look some very similar to them. I do look like my mom's side of the family, and I do look like my father. When I look in the mirror, I do see my father. Sometimes it kind of scares the fuck out of me sometimes. Like, damn, I'm definitely African like a motherfucker, right? Like, even other African, like, I've had moments where I remember I was coming either from my house or leaving the house, and some African chick pulled up and was like, "Who are you?" Like, sometimes. So I would tell you, man, African women, man, could be aggressive as hell, man. I mean, when they want something, they could be almost like a hunter. You know what I'm saying? Like, she could tell that I wasn't just like a regular, like, African American as far as my facial structures and way I look and shit like that. And she zeroed in on it. And I digress, but going back to just basically why this is at that lowest point in life is because, and it kind of relates to a lot of people always talk about, they say, oh yeah, the Mexicans, they poor as hell and they still have children. Well, I mean, maybe they know something about this. And then maybe it's just, it goes back to, it doesn't matter. Well, it matters if you're poor and stuff like that, but you still, most people are going to have children. They're going to, make babies and try to find a way, and the thing is that it kind of, it kind of goes back into, if my ex is still stalking me, why I probably wanted to have children and she didn't. Well, the way I looked at it was, it doesn't matter if I'm fucking piss pot broke or whatever, or a struggling entrepreneur, who gives a fuck. If I don't fucking have any children, I can get fucking hit by a fucking car that day, the next week, tomorrow, whatever. And if I ain't got no children, I mean, pretty much that's it. And then, I mean, pretty much, people are not dumb. Mexicans, when they come over the border, they're not dumb. They know, okay, even if I have a child and I'm broke and I gotta live 10 people in one house, I'm gonna work 2-3 shifts at the plant and then make some money and move out and get an apartment and try to scale up. And they do it, and they do it extremely well. And to the point where some people a lot of times even get jealous because they do a lot of things so well, so uniform, that people a lot of times think they get a government grant or some shit, and they just so they could justify in their head how they are successful and do things so fast and get out of poverty so fast and make a way for themselves. And it's just a lot of times just work ethic and just basically having a cohesive unit and whatnot. And then I ain't gonna lie, like a lot of times I'm going in the depths of my cerebellum. A lot of times when you have a woman and you getting that regular relief, she's you a lot of times, that's why, like, I get it. Like a lot of times guys, they really want to have a relationship because they want live-in sex, they want live-in pussy, and having a woman there, constant, sexual intercourse every day, that's just a relief. I mean, it's just one less thing you got to worry about. You ain't got to worry about, oh, I gotta go, find somebody to go have sex with. I got somebody waiting at home, you know, that I can relieve my stress and get my nut off for the day, basically. So, I mean, that being said, you can accomplish a lot of shit by just having that already together, and that's why a lot of people are, coupled up, partnered up, and stuff like that. Now, um, that being said, like I say, this is why this is on this lower level, this physiological level. It's because in my opinion, it's about survival. Okay, because this is also related to the animal kingdom. As soon as a animal gets in heat and gets, goes through, whatever form of puberty, they start having offsprings. I mean, if you ever had a house cat and you let them outside, if it's a female cat or a pussy cat as it's called, they gonna come back pregnant. And one of the strong realizations that I understood about women was from cats. If you ever see a guy that really likes cats like I do, I get a lot of understanding about women from cats, believe it or not. Cat once I'll never forget my friend that basically I grew up with. He had a cat. He had a female. He had a pussy cat, and it wasn't spaded, and it was in heat. And when I saw that, I realized the nature of women in general. They could be so horny that I literally, like, I mean, I've been around women that have been so horny that they would have fucked any guy that was around them that they had access to, unbeknownst of looks, capital in the bank, cars that are, driven or not. It didn't. A lot of things didn't even matter. It was like the first dick that was around. I've seen that. You know what I'm saying, coming up, and when I was even in high school, I saw that. And I kind of observed that. So that's that, and that's why this is the observation of why I think about that like that. Like, when I hear people saying, yeah, I mean, they don't want to have, children. I'm like, okay, well, maybe they come from a family. They got a big family. Like, if you probably come from a big family where you have a lot of sisters and brothers, I mean, you probably, it's safe to say, or even if you have a twin brother, it's safe to say it ain't no pressure too much for you to have any children, because it's enough for you that, a lot of you might look like each other and stuff like that. You come from a big family, probably not a big pressure for you to actually, uh, you know, have any children, because I mean, you have enough kind of like similar DNA patterns with your own family that it's not that much of a pressure as far as to have offspring or a concern or whatever. And then it kind of goes into confidence as well. I mean, some people, I started off this conversation talking about confidence. What I see from a lot of men is a lack of confidence. Okay. And actually, with this chart here in the purple, that's where that confidence level is. It's kind of well above, below creativity, spontaneity, problem solving, lack of prejudice, acceptance of facts. This is kind of the black pill level. This is this top pyramid where it's blue is kind of like a kind of black pill, because you're accepting of a lot of things in society in the way it is. The purple here is self-esteem, the basically the esteem and confidence, achievement, respect of others, respect by others. So, for example, you've accomplished some things in life. You've reached some certain levels of achievement. You have a certain respect of others and respect by others. See, a lot of this is like, let's talk about that too a little bit. A lot of people don't give they give respect, right? But they don't get the respect back. Like, a lot of times I find myself intrigued by that and kind of the recipient of that. And then I start fucking with people. Basically that's what I typically do when I basically um reciprocate some level of respect and I don't get that same respect back. I definitely start, basically cutting people off, you know. And I suggest people to do that as well. Whenever you're not getting any reciprocation and it's not worthy, you got to ask yourself why are you dealing with this human, basically. Um, so yeah, that leads into confidence and your self esteem. So I'm going to close this chart out and get back to what I was talking about, and that's why basically I think that people should that's why people charge as far as talking about relationships and sex, because it's literally your survival. That you meeting a woman and having a cohesive family unit is secondary. Actually, your first basically area of importance is actually to have offspring to continue on. I mean, the real ones understand it. Probably, beta males and below probably don't understand it. I just gotta say it like that. It is what it is. You know, hate me or love me.
Yeah. Beta.
So past that tough monologue, moving along to emotional stability. Why am I talking about emotional stability? Why is this important? Controlling your emotions is key with dealing with just people in general, and especially dealing with women. I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of women are very good at manipulation. They're very good at basically kind of winding you up, or even what is called gaslighting, right? Gaslighting. Let's look up the definition of gaslighting. That's a popular term that is thrown around a lot. Gaslighting. Let me close some of this stuff out because my internet is kind of slow. I'm waiting for this to load. Let me close this up. Let me see here. All right, there we go. All right. Let me share my screen here. Talk about gaslighting. Actually, you know what? Because I'm using I'm using work. So I'm gonna put this in the chat here. Put this in the chat. You got some people that are like very, very, very good at psychological manipulation. Okay. Um, you can actually learn psychology to actually manipulate people. You know, you can actually, like, some people use things for the light, and some people use things for the darkness, right? So gaslighting happens, it says, when an abuser tries to control a victim by twisting their sense of reality. An example of gaslighting would be a partner doing something abusive. So this is this is this is an article that gaslighting, to give an example. Um, so for example of gaslighting would be one example. I'll just talk about one example of gaslighting. One example of gaslighting is saying something never happened. So for example, scenario, a man and a woman is having argument about, let's just say, the man, he found his woman at the club, uh and his friend told him that he was at the club and he saw his uh girlfriend or fiance or wife at the club, basically um dancing with another dude. And basically having girls' night out with the girls, right? And actually even taking numbers from dudes at the club. And then y'all get into it, and she says that never happened. That she wasn't at the club and blah 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 blah. And she doesn't know who the guy that was at the club may be. And you ain't, if you smart enough, you didn't dime out your homie and say who it was if she knows your friends. And she just say it just never happened. It never happened. I was not at the club. That is gaslighting. She is trying to manipulate you into believing that it never happened. It never existed. That is a form of gaslighting. Any type of manipulation of reality is gaslighting, to a certain extent. Like, this will be one example of that. Now, I'm gonna move further along, and I'm going to talk about going back to emotional stability. So, why is this important? Why is emotional stability important? Obviously, it's important to function in society to have your emotions in check, right? And the reason why I was talking about gaslighting is because if you're very easily able to be triggered and you're not control of your emotions, I have to give credit where credit is due. Shout out what's his name? Mr. Palmer, child support, baby mama terrorist. He say keep your veins ice cold. Well, in that scenario, that's where that becomes worth $1,000,000. When you're getting in an argument with a woman and you're not emotionally stable, you actually have so much passion and so much emotion about anything because you're trying to, and this is happening to millions of people in this country right now. Like, I'm pretty much, yeah, I'm single and well, divorced, and I basically, I have my own little um stable of women or whatever the hell you want to call it. But the thing is that, on the outside looking in, a lot of men are in relationships where they're really trying to hold on to their particular partner, and by various means of arguments, fussing, and fighting. Right. Well, being emotionally stable, having a relationship with a woman where you're emotionally stable. Let's just first of all talk about this. Let's step outside of the avenue of being in a relationship with a woman. Before you even step to a woman, if you're in a position where you're emotionally stable, like, pretty much you should be when you play chess. One of the things about chess is actually controlling your emotions, making your decisions, hard, cold-blooded decisions, right? Um, when it goes back to before you even meet a woman, having your emotions in order, right? Being focused on what you got to do and everything like that, and how you got to live your life, right? You don't even go to no woman actually being emotionally unstable. Now, what do I mean by being emotionally unstable? Meaning that you want this woman so bad, and you start this shit from day one. A lot of times, typically, like, guys go to women with the approach as, oh, I want you so bad, baby. If they meet like a fine woman on the street, right? They typically want this woman more than air, right? And they start the conversation off. They set the tone of the relationship of being basically the woman being way up high above the clouds. And then to a certain extent, yeah, men gaslight too, because right, like when men to do that, then they get the box, and then it's like, oh, I already got the box. You can't unfuck me. It's like then women be like, damn, you know what I'm saying? I wish I never even gave you, no pussy, because now you treat me like shit. And it's because you started off being and then a lot of occasions women men actually they get even more severely wanting the woman even more, because if she's planning on leaving them and everything like that, right? But the thing is they're already coming to a situation where they're so emotionally unstable that they actually need this woman more than even life itself, like some old Romeo and Juliet type shit, some romanticism. Like they need this woman so bad, right? And I mean, the woman basically is like, if you get a woman that is a manipulative woman, that she's trying to possibly, she has motives to get your capital from you, extract your capital from you, and basically a gold digger, right? That's actually digging, and you have gold to dig. She's like, at that point, she's like, oh, I got this dude. They literally, like, in their head, like, if you meet a woman that is basically kind of somewhat, I want to say, I'm leaning toward the words evil, right? She's like, she has no intentions of helping you or anything like that. She's going to give you what you want, but she's in her head like, oh, I got this dude. Oh, I got this dude. Oh man, got me one. Yeah, another one. Like DJ Khaled, another one. Because she's ran into many dudes like this, because let's just face it, it goes back to, and I have to say, I've been guilty of this myself. Living with a woman, mostly being up under a woman, your mother, being up under your mother, and basically being all emotional and yearning of your mother and shit like that, yearning towards women. Oh yeah, we sitting down on the couch. You, at this point, if you ain't laying down on the couch right now, getting this therapy session, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what you're doing. But yeah, you get a lot of this yearning from your mother, being so yearning a mother figure, yearning a woman so much. And it gets even worse if you have a situation where you were a foster child and your mother wasn't even around. Oh, it gets even worse, right? Yearning for that mother so much, right? Having that yearning for women so much, you know, and not controlling that shit. They just be like, oh, I got another one.
Message.
And when you learn how to control your emotions, doing some damn push-ups, doing meditation, praying, fasting, going, working out, playing some sports, whatever you can do to basically work on your emotional unstableness, right? And you become that individual, you become that man. Because see, here, I talk about a lot of the, well, not all the time, but I talk about male hierarchy. I talk about the alpha, beta, omega, zeta males, right? Well, a lot of that is internal. I know a weak man by just basically being around them, even if they kind of hardcore on the outside. This person can't wait. A lot of people are impatient. They're impatient. Oh, this person can't wait. They don't have no patience. Do you know in war you could die very easily if you don't have patience? If it becomes a life and death matter when you don't have patience in an act of war. Like if you're in a war, let's just say you're in a foxhole and you can't sit still. Like for example, foxholes was something that kind of became really famous in World War I. If you weren't patient enough to sit in that foxhole for sometimes a period of days until the other side stops, bombarding a particular position, shooting. If you just couldn't wait and you had to run away or something like that, you just got tired of sitting in that foxhole. Next thing you know, a sniper that was just weighing in on that position, just sitting there focused, just pick you off. Or even if you made a sudden movement to the left, to the right, whatever, just pick you off. And when I can tell, men that are impatient, right? They have no patience. Like a lot of people now, I even notice when I'm driving my car, I notice you got a lot of young people on the road. You got millennials on the road now, Generation Z on the road, right? The way they're driving, they have no patience. There's a lot of accidents. I mean, they slamming their brakes. They on the phone. I'm guilty of that to a certain extent too, but I can control it to a certain extent. But yeah, I'm guilty of that. I got into accidents before because I was on the phone or watching, something on the phone, or even worse, trying to install a satellite radio while I was driving. I mean, the thing is that a lot of that is lack of patience, right? And that's controlling your emotions, controlling your desires. Waiting. Like, okay, I'll wait till I get home to do this. And everybody, a lot of times, want things right now. They want everything right now. That they just basically can't wait. And a lot of times, that even goes into being able to pick a decent quality woman. I could say a lot of times if you just going to go, let's just say, for example, you have women that are not necessarily so promiscuous or whatever, or they're more virtuous. Well, they might be worth waiting for, but you go with Shaquisha because she gonna give you the pussy on the second day of the date. And the other chick, she basically she say, I need you to wait for at least a period of month or two or three. I mean, I know people are creative. They'll go still deal with her and then deal with the other chick, but then um all of that stuff kind of comes to a head after a while. I mean, let's just be honest. Like most men, I would have to say, if you getting a regular supply of sex from some woman and everything like that, you probably start to not think about the other um woman. I mean, I kind of look at sex kind of like food. If I'm getting well fed, I'm not necessarily thinking about, let's just say I'm eating steak and lobster. Or let's just say I had a hamburger and some French fries. Let's just say I had a hamburger and some French fries and a Pepsi or a Coke. Well, I really did want the steak and lobster, but I had to wait for it. I had to wait a long time to actually get that steak and lobster and baked potato and all of that other, stuff that goes with it, right? Well, I had to wait a little bit longer to get that, but this cheeseburger and this double cheeseburger and fries and Coke, it's right there. So yeah, after I load myself up with this double cheeseburger and fries and a Coke, I'm full. I'm not necessarily thinking about that steak and lobster and premium baked potato with all the trimmings and works and a nice salad. I'm not thinking about that because basically I already had this stuffed, double cheeseburger with fries and a soda, right? So I mean, basically, that's kind of how a lot of times people, I think, kind of get women that they're not necessarily really what they wanted. They were just available right now. And a lot of times that's why a lot of women do give it up because they know if I get this dude right now, he ain't gonna probably be thinking of I know he got other prospects. So if I give him, this pussy right now, he ain't gonna want no other chicks right at the probably at the moment because I'm gonna whip it on them. I'm gonna give him the double twist with the spit and all the trimmings and works, and he ain't gonna be even thinking about no other chick that he was trying to date. After a while, he gonna just be coming trying to, come pick me up and everything. And a lot of times that works, and depending on the guy, they don't even know uh after a while what's being done. And it could go one way or it can go the other. And you gotta understand, I mean, you dealing with somebody that um kind of knows what they're doing. If you get a woman that knows what they're doing, they're like, what I'm saying, highly skilled sexually, they've dealt with other men, a lot of men, you know, in various different situations and scenarios. And a lot of women like that, unfortunately, um, they are available and the sex is great, but a lot of times women like that get desensitized to sex. They get desensitized to men. They know, okay, even if this dude, okay, I didn't, had a good time with this guy and, I like him, but I could leave this dude. It'll be nothing. It just be because they get used to it. They get used to almost kind of like a prostitute getting used to the John leaving, coming and going. Like a prostitute might deal with, or let's just say an escort might deal with like on average 3 or 4 to 5 guys a night on a average day, right? And they get used to guys coming and going, literally, right? Well, a lot of women that are kind of like that to a certain extent on a sexual level that are experienced and know how to manipulate this and do this. Well, they get and they get they go into relationships with kind of monkey branching. They are desensitized to kind of men leaving them, coming and going, kind of on a slower level than a escort, but very much similarly, right? Very similar that they can just basically say whatever they want to say on their mind, or say, well, if you don't like me, you can leave me, and what I'm saying, don't call me no more or whatever, because they know that they can get another guy tomorrow. They probably already even have other guys in their inbox, in their phone that they can deal with. And you put the other chick on the side, on the back burner, the steak and lobster, to get that instant cheeseburger that will be ready in 5 to 10 minutes, or might even already be pre-made because it was there and it was available and it was easy to get. And the other chick required a little bit more patience, or even further patience that you had no patience to get. This is just experience, man. This is just my experience and my observation of experiences I've had. Okay. Um, you know, that's just my opinion on it, but it ain't necessarily opinion. It's definitely true. A lot of situations kind of go this way. And It's like, damn, you think about it like, damn, okay. That's why I be just, getting with randos all the time. And it kind of going back to emotional stability. Women know that who they can argue with and who not to argue with. Because an emotional stable male, an emotional stable man won't even entertain the thought or even deal with women that are very argumentative or have a hard time basically following a lead or taking advice or whatever the case may be. They just be like, you know what? All right, I see where it's going. Click, block, bye. Because it's like you kind of have to have that hair trigger response, because as soon as you tolerate it and you keep having to put this woman in check, it's like this is what you're gonna have to continuously do. And then it helps to understand that it's women that you won't have that problem with. It's not that many, I would have to admit. I would have to say it's probably not that many women, but it's women that you probably would have more of a better chemistry with, that understands things better than women that just basically can't take advice, always got something to say. It doesn't take long to figure that out. It takes a conversation, a couple conversations at best. You figure out, okay, this is who this person is. And becoming an emotional, stable man helps you just basically even get rid of these people. Get rid of this woman. Basically weed this woman out. And an emotionally unstable man, they'll just go with it. Like, oh, I'll take what I can get. When I hear men talking about they'll take what they can get, that's what they're saying. They're saying, I'll eat anything. Like literally, like I said, I look at sex like food, like courtships, all it. Like, I'll eat anything. Yeah, yeah, just give me a pork chop with fries on a bun. Put some mayonnaise and some mustard on it, in a Coke. I mean, yeah, go put a rat, fried rat with some chips and in a Sunny Delight. Yeah, that's how I look at it. Like, literally, you'll take anything. Now I get it. Going back to being a dog, I get it. It's moments where, yeah, it be like that. A dog will hump anything, right? But even understanding, okay, yeah, I'm not a dog, I'm a human, but I have traits like a dog. At the end of the day, it was fun. We both got a nut, but yeah, ain't no future in this situation. We, just having a good time. But if you need some money for, something to eat, here you go. Que sera, adios, bon voyage, arrivederci. So yeah, I mean, it helps to be emotionally stable. Okay, emotionally stable, and this leads into inner confidence. Inner confidence, and it's a reason why I mentioned that Maslow's chart. I'm glad I explained that, because that's what it was talking about. Before I even put that that slide of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the different version of it. I've already made these bullet points. So this is where inner confidence comes into play. This comes into play when it leading from emotional stability to confidence. Confidence is basically, you know, your actions are the right way. How you move in life, how you think, your actions that you take, you're confident in those actions, those movements. Where a lot of men have problems with is being able to move, being able to basically walk in confidence, knowing who you are, knowing how valuable you are, knowing how rare you are, knowing your worth, not caring about what people think about you, knowing you even fly, you know, knowing you're healthy, being grateful, you know what I'm saying? All of the things you've already overcame. This is what develops your inner confidence. And women can smell it. They can feel it. It's like, oh, this is a confident dude right here. Oh, this dude, he ain't confident. I'm gonna be honest with you. This also goes to a certain level of extreme. And it's one of the reasons why I did this video. It goes back to my friend, one of my friends. He used to go to the bars. He used to like to go to the bars and, have a drink and whatnot, right? He used to say, "Oh, you gotta," because we were all, used to pick up women and whatnot at the bar. He used to say, "Oh, you gotta say this. You should have said this. You should have," like, after somebody, like, if I got shot down or whatever. "Oh, you should have said that. No, you shouldn't have said that." Before we went our separate ways, and then he ultimately, found his wife, right? I told him something. I dropped a bomb on him before we kind of went our separate ways when I told him this, because he understood what I was talking about, and that it helped him kind of, I think, um kind of help him, I think, along the way of him trying to, move on to his journey in life. I said, "Sam, you have to look at it like a celebrity or uh, someone of very high level of importance, or whatever the case may be. Do you think that they have to say something the right way, do something the right way, or approach a woman the right way? Or do these women have, like, for example, the Jackson 5 in the 70s and 80s, have hundreds of thousands of women after the show waiting, trying to bum rush an entourage, bum rush security and the police, trying to get access to them? Do they have to say something the right way, do something the right way, or uh, be able to, like, shake their hand or not shake their hand when they meet them, say something the right way? No, they don't. Okay, um, they had to hide to escape crowds of women, young and old, trying to bum rush them to get away from them because it was just too many women, too many people coming at them because they were rich and famous. Now, how does that relate to the common man and what I'm talking about? When you actually work on yourself, when you self-improve, you become the best man you possibly can be. On that level, you ain't got no choice but to be the best man you could be, and you're gonna be better than other people in the process. You're going to be that local legend or that local dude. Now, yeah, you just like a person with fame or fortune, you know, you everybody knows you. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay, that's that dude, right? Yeah, you might become a target. Yeah, that is true. But women also notice you. Oh, this dude, okay, this dude somebody, or he one of them dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's that dude. That's the man right there. When you work on yourself so much so in your whatever you're doing, your business, I mean, you working at your company, you trying to be the next CEO of that motherfucker. You working your way to be a director, vice president, whatever the case may be, man. You're working on getting higher up in life, whatever you're doing, right? When you be that motherfucker, right? On a little macro level, you will have that same type of level of importance, that same level of, okay, when you come around, women look at you. That's pretty much what happened that's what happened to Kevin Samuels. That's exactly what happened to him. That's what he did. He actually, if you ever saw a blueprint, he actually that's on a YouTube level, that's what he did. Not everybody is gonna make it in and be big on YouTube. Um, the same type of level of success you can do offline, off YouTube. And if you become one of those like masters of the universe, or you start to commingle in 100 octane spaces, 92 octane spaces. Shout out to BGS Sidmore's octane skill. When you start to mingle around, the masters of the universe and 100 octanes and stuff like that, or even higher up circles and stuff like that, all the other women are they looking up to you. Like, when you become so, what's the words, high and mighty, a lot of times women of lower caliber, they don't want to talk to you, not because they think you are lame or anything like that. They don't they know you probably are not gonna bring them up with you. You're gonna basically use them for whatever they have, which is their body, their sex, their company. And a lot of women like that, they get smart and they basically start selling their sexual access to men because they might look really good and have a nice body, and they know, like, men that are, like, let's just say, professional men, um, elite men, even to a certain extent, they still want them because they're attractive, but they're ratchet, so they'll literally get into the whole uh, you know kind of selling their body, escorting, stripping, whatever the case may be, even OnlyFans, so they can get some bread out these men and then get flued out and all of that type of stuff, because basically they know they can't necessarily get these guys and keep them around. You can't satisfy these men on a long-term basis, only on a short-term basis, right? Same thing that goes with a chick that basically works at a gas station. She knows she can't necessarily, uh, she might give you an uncomfortable experience at the gas station. You come there, dressed, in casual wear, coming from the office, because she knows she can't get you. She can't pretty much reach you. And she knows you're not going to get her out of that gas station, most likely. And she might feel some type of way about you. So she gives you bad customer service. Only happens every day. And that's why they're building kiosk machines. Because ain't nobody got time to go in stores and shit like that. And then I got to get an uncomfortable experience because I know you can't get me. And this goes into being conceited. A lot of men should learn how to be conceited to a certain extent. Just like women are conceited, men should learn how to be conceited as well. Just because I'm conceited and I have high levels of confidence, right? High levels, not delusional confidence, but high levels of confidence, and you feel some type of way about me because of how I talk and the way I dress, and I'm spending my hard-earned money that I did not get from scamming, frauding, and robbing people or whatever, burglarizing people, shooting people, whatever, and I gotta get an uncomfortable experience going to the grocery store, going to the local pharmacy or gas station. Well, I just build a kiosk. I'll buy, this business is rolling out kiosks, automated, gas station lines. I won't even go in. I'll just use the little kiosk or whatever, or go to the cashier. Won't go to the cashier because I don't want that uncomfortable customer service experience. I did a video about, business. You got two things: your customer service, your sales, and or your service that you're offering. You got bad customer service, a lot of people are not going to feel comfortable coming to continuously patronize your business because you got bad employees that have bad customer service. Walmart.com, just hiring anybody, just having a Popeyes model and Chick-fil-A model, just bad customer service, just paid drones to just basically shelf the products and then walk around and talk to each other and play with their cell phones for a wage that, given, is still a wage. It might not be a lot of money, but it's still a wage. It's still money. It's still valuable. They're paying you every hour. And there's people in other countries that'll be hard pressed to make that. $15 an hour. Hell, when I pretty much got home from fucking jail and placed on house arrest, I was working in a chicken factory for $12 an hour. I think it was 13. It was anywhere from $12 to $13 an hour. I would have loved to fucking work. I would have been the best Walmart employee that fucking ever walked the face of the earth for $15 an hour, and I didn't have to wear a cold ass jacket separating chicken parts. And all I had to do was just load and shelf groceries and goods for Walmart. 15, and it still get $15 an hour to do that with educational bonuses and student loan reimbursements and all that stuff. Oh man, I'd have been like, hey, somebody asked me where something is. Hey, come follow me, homie. It's right over here. Boom. Anything else you need? Like, I mean, I don't know, man. I grew up from a time in the era. I'm a Generation X. Basically on the cusp of Generation X and Millennial. We were taught how to say thank you. You know, respect your, elders. That's why we were taught. So these like new age kids, the millennials and the zennials, basically, they were raised with nasty ass Gen X parents that did not teach them to be respectful because they had respect issues for whatever reason. And then they just passed on that shit to their kids. You don't have to say anything to strangers and shit like that. Not going outside, being unsocialized because they play video games all day and watch cartoons in the house, so they're not socialized. That transformed into adults to what their behavior is now. Very socially awkward, like can't hardly talk to people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, yeah, those are the weaknesses of millennials and even zennials, being very unsocialized. And the COVID shit doesn't make it no better, being cooped up in the house all day. So yeah, I mean, being conceited, being highly confident, it's very difficult trying to just, take the money that you earn and go buy the shit you need at a store because everybody gotta fucking judge the fact that you're fucking better than them and they know you're better than them, and they probably even assume that you make more than them. And you gotta deal with these bad customer service individuals. And it's like, you know what? Bring on the fucking kiosks. Bring them on. Because I don't want to have to deal with your sour ass. Wake your ass up. If you want to be like somebody you hate, wake your ass up early. Motherfucking do what you need to do. Read a book. Put that bullshit ass iPhone down, Android down. Read a damn book. And goddamn it, learn some shit.
The shit's chess, it ain't checkers.
Stop being a fucking hater, hating everybody because you don't get what you want like a fucking little baby. You know what I'm saying? Wake the fuck up. But yeah, being conceited, highly confident, it helps. It helps, right? It just helps in general because the thing about it is you focused on yourself. You came out your mama pussy by yourself. Even if you were a twin, you came out one at a time. Shit. So focus on yourself is numero uno. And then you deal with, your children. In order to deal with your children, you must first focus on yourself. If you good, your kids good. If you bad, damn near 9 times out of 10, your kids doing bad too. And if you're single, you damn sure better focus on yourself. Because ain't nobody else gonna focus on you. Unless you got a mama and daddy, and you live with them, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, being a stuck-up, conceited motherfucker, man, is powerful. Okay? It's a powerful thing. A lot of you people are you have a lack of confidence. And it comes to a certain extent. I get it. When your life ain't good, when your life ain't in order, it gets kind of complicated. Trying to actually be, confident. Okay, it gets kind of complicated when basically you are trying to be confident making $20,000 a year in America. It gets challenging with that confidence and being conceited, because technically you're below everybody, and you barely can pay your rent at this point, right? It just is what it is. Now, I'm not saying that there ain't some people that are extremely confident and don't make that much money. I mean, obviously, there are, and I suggest you should be, right? But it gets very challenging when you don't have your life in order. It just does. But going back to being that superstar, being that local legend, you know, being that the best man you could possibly be. Being conceited, there's nothing wrong with that. Having a high level of confidence, being stuck up, it actually helps with basically not having to deal with women that they're so used to men being unconfident, having lack of confidence. They come around you and you're fucking conceited. You're a conceited motherfucking asshole when you have to be. You could be nice. You could be a nice guy and still be conceited. But then when somebody is sour towards you, turn that shit right into asshole mode. And I'm gonna be honest with you. If a woman called you an asshole, that's a compliment. Because women like to lick assholes. So if they're actually telling you something that women actually, if they really, really like you, they like to lick, it's actually a compliment. Oh man. Oh man. This gonna be on Patreon. I don't know if this will be unreleased, but enjoy it while you can. Yeah. So it's actually a compliment when women call you an asshole. Women love assholes. Martin Shkreli, or whatever his name, the Wall Street trader that bought pharmaceutical company and increased the drug for like $15 to like, I don't know, $700 a pill or some shit like that. Extreme New York, Wall Street, high level investment banker, uh, supreme asshole. He bought the Wu-Tang album. Wu-Tang released kind of similar to Nipsey Hussle. He had an album that was $100 an album. It was like limited edition, basically. He brought out he pretty much put out some music that his album was $100 a album, right? And there's actually some people that actually bought it. If I would have known what I know now, yeah, I would have bought it, right? Well, the Wu-Tang Clan, they put out an album that was only one album. You could only buy one album, and it was $1 million, I believe. Anywhere between $1 million to $2 million for that one album. Well, that was just basically pocket change for Martin Shkreli. He bought the album and then trolled the Wu-Tang Clan after he actually bought the album, got with his little white goons, and he was actually beefing with the Wu-Tang Clan. And I mean, he basically, it wasn't like he was a dweeb incel. He was getting women basically to leave their husband and actually date him while he was in prison. Women, you know, some women they actually do like assholes. A lot of women actually, because to be honest, society is so rough and so hardcore and so chaotic. You gotta have to sometimes bring out that asshole, or worse, that crazy person, or even worse than that. And you know where I'm going with this? To deal with, people in society. So back to being conceited, yeah. Even women love conceited men. Okay? Women love conceited men. Shout out to Chris Brown. Shout out to any motherfucking R&B singer that ever fucking walked this earth that sold over 1 million albums. Or rapper. Or a millionaire that can go to an auto lot and buy any car that he wants in any mansion he wants. Women like conceited dudes. It's a damn secret weapon, I'll be honest with you. And if you're shallow and you don't care to a point where you just kind of embrace your inner bumhood, well, don't complain about not getting no women or, you know, being depressed about you not getting women. You made that decision to make your life hard when it didn't have to be. Because you chose to hate on the broke genius and not watch his content and not engage in his content and just chose to hate when he told you you should do this, this, and this, and you didn't do it. You made the choice to embrace your inner bumhood and dress like Biggie Smalls said when he was broke, with lumberjacks, with the hat to match and all that shit. But the broke genius, he sells style boxes on his website, and brokegeniuses.com, and he gives you all kind of examples of what you should do in this, that, and the third, and you just choose to hate on him, and you never met him a day in your fucking life, and you just sitting in some bumfuck ass wherever you live and hating on the broke genius, and the broke genius trying to tell you what you need to do to basically be the best version of your possible self for free 99, and then not on Patreon, which my Patreon is only like, I think $3. Patreon is only $3, but the hate is real, and I'm sitting back loving it. I'm loving this hate. I love hate. I love it. I'm a Virgo, and I'm also an empath. I love energy when it's also negative too, because it lets me know that the love is real. I absolutely enjoy hate as well as love. I'm very dark and black pillish. I actually I enjoy people that hate me just as much as people that love me. I'm kind of twisted. I'm kind of twisted. You know what I'm saying? And being conceited, you are going to have to deal with a lot of people hating you. I'm dealing with the heart of why people secretly hate me to a certain level. Like I've gotten this understanding that even if you try to go from, I did the video. This originally was on Patreon. I brought it. I unvaulted it and I put it on my main page. I talked about Johnny Come Lately, basically the story of Johnny Come Lately or whatever, right? Well, a lot of times when you come from the bottom and you work your way up, it goes back to what I was talking about earlier, hierarchy. when you become the top cock, the top chicken, the top, hen and the top cock in the terms of chickens, right? And you weren't the top cock, and now you the top cock or whatever, or you rising above to be that the top, basically head cock. The other fucking cocks don't like you because when you were that low cock just sitting off in the corner in the chicken coop, just eating your little grains and your little insects or whatever hell chickens eat, which damn near everything. Nobody had a problem with you. You weren't mating with the other chickens or whatever. They damn near thinking about twisting your neck and serving you for the evening's meal. Nobody worried about you. But then when you start doing those push-ups and you start, tapping into, basically that eye of the tiger and shit, start getting your body in shape, start getting your mind straight, getting your, inner spirit, your soul straight. You start being that bad motherfucker that you once were, but you had to fall down. You had a life turnaround, and you getting back up. Everybody that probably talked shit about you or knew that you was, or it was like, who is this motherfucker, or who is this new cat? They don't like this motherfucking new position player that they have to deal with. Who is this? Who is this conceited motherfucker? It's you. And you're the motherfucker that they gotta see. It's like, damn, I wish this motherfucker just go away. But you don't go away. You just keep coming. And you like, bring it on, motherfucker. Because just like conceited bitches, right? They have to deal with other women hating on them. And women hate hard. Women hate, ooh-wee. The stuff that women do, man, I don't even want to talk about it. Because it's just going to get too dark. But, yeah, you're going to have to deal with that hate. You're going to have to deal with that hate. And I think some people, they self-sabotage their life because they don't want to have to deal with that hate. They like having people call them, and they like having a lot of friends around and shit like that. So they actually self-sabotage their life to be lower than themselves just so they can satisfy the people, their friends and stuff. I had my own mother. She like Mercedes Benzes. She like boats, Volvos, a lot of other cars and stuff like that. She got regular cars because she said she didn't want her friends to think that she was better than them. At the end of the day, that's how she thought about it. She didn't want to lose any friends, so she got the regular car. And I said, why don't you get this, and this? Like, why don't you get you a Mercedes or whatever? She could certainly afford it. At the time, she could afford it, but she wanted the regular car because a lot of her friends weren't college educated like she was. Didn't have the teaching special education teaching certificates that she had, that you get paid more for. The, certain certifications and stuff that she had to do IEPs and all that other stuff, right? They didn't have that. Most of her friends they didn't have a college degree. Some of them didn't even have a high school diploma, probably even. But that's the life she chose. Me? I ain't necessarily gonna say that I can afford to get a brand new Mercedes Benz. I can't afford that shit. But I get an old one. I get a classic one. I still drive it. I mean, I definitely have no I have no problems driving a Bentley. I'll drive a Bentley tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like it's nothing. Friends? What friends? If anything, I'll probably get more friends. But the thing is that I don't have that same hang up. I don't I want to be the best version of myself. I don't care about what somebody don't like because uh of a car I drive or whatever. If you're that shallow that if you got a new car and your friend doesn't want to be your friend no more because you got a better car than they do, or you make more money than they do, or you have more. Even guys are just like certain women. I'm gonna tell you how certain women are, and then men are like that too. When you start having more of anything than somebody else, people get jealous. Women actually get jealous of other women if they have more children than they have. Like if it's a woman that has just one child or even no children, she don't really, most of the time her friends consist of other women that don't have children, because the women that have children, she kind of feels left out. And even some women are even jealous, and even goes to a certain other dichotomy, which is, you know, people do actually kidnap children, kidnap babies, because they can't either have children or whatever the reason is. So yeah, you will have to deal with a lot of hate, having a high level of confidence, and then also the attention that brings from women that are attracted to that, like a moth to a light, right? But you still, I would say, should have it if you can, because it will help you easily be able to deal with women. Women will not be a problem if you're highly conceited. I promise you it won't. You might be like, damn, well, what you talking about? You ain't got a whole bunch of women. I don't tell you what I have or don't have, sir, or ma'am. And the reason why I don't do it is because one of the reasons is you're at a catch-22. If you tell people what they think, that you basically people always tend to discount what your actual value is. That's first, right? People tend to automatically by default underestimate you, right? So if they find out that your estimation is way over, just basically out of the boundaries of reality of what they think of you, um, it really doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve me any purpose to actually fully express my entire reality of how I live my life and who I'm living my life with and all that. Because if I told you, you probably first of all wouldn't believe it. Even if I showed receipts, what value would I actually bring showing you any type of like pictures of what my lifestyle is or what my life is and all that? Like it doesn't profit me to anything to do that. One, two, if I did, the amount of hate and vitriol that I would get from that, it wouldn't be worth it. So it's kind of better for me, in my opinion, to for you to think whatever you think lowly of me than high, because I really, in the interest of you know my own self, I it really does, it doesn't profit me to actually tell you the inner workings of my personal relationships and what's going on in my life. 100% transparency. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, I ain't gonna say that I can't be bought out, but the thing is that most people, if you're not like already famous or rich or something like that or whatever, they're not gonna pay you anything to document your life or anything like that. And then people still have their own private business that they don't necessarily choose to expose or whatever the case may be. So at the end of the day, um, I don't necessarily have to go too much in detail. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I am more private on my Patreon. I will say, if you really nosy about you know what I do or what this guy's actually talking about on my Patreon, I do expose myself quite a bit more on a personal level on my Patreon. Okay, I mean, yeah, I will give you that. Um, so yeah, I mean, like I say, this is why a lot of you hit your head in life. You know what I'm saying, with women. That's why guys are actually simps. A simp is all of that stuff I stated before. Emotionally unstable, you know, coming at women from Jump Street like they're way up here and you way down here. It's like, I used to watch a movie. It used to be some movies in the early '80s called Revenge of the Nerds. And what they used to say when they came around certain individuals, usually even women, they would say, "We're not worthy. We're not worthy." That's literally how you coming at a woman when you like putting her way up here. Either you doing it because you gaslighting her because you trying to get the pussy, or you just basically doing it because you genuinely do think that, right? And I mean, basically, yeah, I mean, to a certain extent that might work, but you already coming at a deficit where you put her way above a pedestal and you way down here. So her expectations of the relationship, like I say, you do got some women that they'll take that and be like, basically, I got me one, you know. Um,
Got him! Got him!
I mean, you do have some women, man, that basically they'll be like, yeah, I got this dude. I'm gonna have this dude pay my rent next month, pay my car note the other month, and then buy me some groceries. Probably give me some crabs legs, some lobster tails, and do all kind of stuff because they already see you emotionally unstable, lack of confidence. You exhibiting that by how you coming at them. And don't get me wrong, like that's why a lot of people travel, because in this country women are put up on a pedestal. It's a millions of simps that put women on the pedestal that they are so high that it's even really messing up women, because they're so delusional to think that they're so high above, you know, that it comes the crash coming down is so heavy. It's so heavy because by the time they get 38 years old, their eggs are like, baby please, and then they running out of time. And basically they the time is just ticking and ticking, and then it's like, oh, spinster, no children, get a dog, die alone, or, adopt or whatever. And that's it. Because they thought that they were more than what they actually were. I mean, they literally thought that they were gaslighted so much, and then they got so many likes, so many hearts on social media, so many responses from men, even in some don't even get no responses in the real world, and then get a lot of responses in social media. That crash, it just comes down hard because they get older, and basically they realize not too many men are checking for them, or they know the social media world is fake, and it's not real. It's only based off of basically ones and zeros and code. It's not real. The offline world is totally different reality from their online world. So yeah, it's like basically that crash comes down hard. But in the meantime, in between time, this pedestal is still up there, and it is crashing down. I mean, right now is something going on with a new outbreak. You know, still dealing with COVID. Now it's monkeypox. You know, that is the new thing, and a lot of this stuff, the market is getting deflated. It's going down. There's wars going on, and all of this stuff. Yeah, it's a lot of stress, right? And women are waking up to a slow crawl, but it's still, that pedestal is still up there, and guys do this. At least the smart ones do, because basically it goes somewhere else, and they're more valuable than what they are in this country, and the women in the other country, they're not put on a pedestal like that. It's not no pedestal for them to be on in some cases. It's a very low pedestal. They have to, the competition is fierce. And then you after you take that trip and you go somewhere else, whether it be the Caribbean, or go to South America, whatever, you come back and you like, damn, I gotta plan my next trip, because the reality of this country is, it just so warped. I don't even really want to deal with these women in this country, because they pedestal is so high. They like, well, let me just go ahead and plan my next trip, right, while just to ride back home. And then it becomes a situation where it's like, damn, I might as well just stay in the country where I like to be at in the first place. And I mean, it is a reality for a lot of men. It's becoming more of a reality today. So yeah, but I definitely have to say, I mean, yeah, high levels of confidence is something that, not delusional conceit, not delusional levels of confidence, but a sustained high level of confidence. You overcame so much. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like me, I've overcame so much in my life. A lot of times I forget the stuff that I accomplished. I have to remind myself the stuff I've accomplished, many times. So the last thing is where I see a lot of men drop the ball, worrying about women too much. It ain't your job to worry about women. too much. Like, women are women. They like what they like. A lot of times they flip flop because they get emotional. I mean, most women are with men. They getting dick down. They getting quality dick or what, or even if they not getting dick, their mind changes by the day. They're not really usually logical. They're mostly emotional, and their emotions could be changed by their uh, cycle of the month. Menstrual cycle. I mean, it's like it just different creatures, man. I mean, like worrying about them ain't gonna do it for you, bro. It's just not. Like when you worrying about women, that's a red flag, bro. When you sitting worrying about women and what they do and what they say and how they say it and all that shit, that's the first step for you being a loser on the sexual marketplace value. That's the first step right there, because when you say, "Oh, I'm just gonna concern myself and worry about what women say and what they do and all that," that's where you become that loser that is, constantly worrying about what women do and what they say and how they say it and all that shit. And you become basically this
You're
situation.
automatically beta. Automatically, you're beta. You're beta as fuck.
And yeah, I mean, I really don't have that much more to say about that. I'm not going to give you any long dissertation on that. So, um, you know, I basically leave you with. Let's see what I'll leave you with.
James with the souls, not toes.
Question is, how do I attract a man who wants to be nurtured and supported but can give me that same energy back?
A wise person, taught me that when you change your perspective, that's when miracles happen. I said this real talk. This was my exact prayer. I say, God, please send me a woman that's the most beautiful woman in the world with a big soft ass booty. That's a real pure tea slut, but she just loyal. Just send me somebody that's in the working out, in the eating healthy, into all the things